everyone, welcome to or back to my channel. Foster Mom Abby here, and I have been really excited to do this video because I think it's something a lot of people want to know, and I think it's something that's probably not talked about. So the title of this video, as you can see, is what do your foster children call you? I'm going to caveat this by saying I'm going to share my experience, and I'm going to share that there's no right answer to this. Okay. It varies situationally, but I'm going to explain my rationale behind how we do things in our home. My husband and I have been foster parents for, well, we were foster parents for 5 years. We took about a 15-month break, and now we've been foster parents licensed again for about 3 months. And so this is headed into our 6th year of fostering. So we've had 9 children in and out of our home over that course of 5 to 6 years. And the age of foster children that we take in our home is infants. We have had a 2-year-old before. That was kind of a sibling set special situation, but generally in our home, we take infants. Hi, Red. That is the lens from which I'm speaking. So the short answer to the question is that for the most part, because we take infants, when they leave, they've generally been close to around 1 year old. So just starting to babble, just starting to say mama, dada, you know, those first children words. So our kids, we have 5 other children in the home that are biological and adopted. Obviously they call us mom and dad, mama, dada, mommy and daddy. Okay. And I think that in a lot of ways it can be very natural, that your foster children just kind of take after what your other children call you, especially when they're so young. They kind of just observe, that the other children in the house call you mama and dada, and they kind of follow suit. I also feel like for children that young, mama and dada is just who they know to be their caretakers. And for these kiddos, until they're able to reunify with their biological families or move on to a fictive kin placement, we are their mama and dada. We are their caretakers. So the short answer is we do refer to ourselves as mommy and daddy or mama and dada to our foster children. So if they're upset or they're crying, mommy's here, it's okay. That's how I refer to myself. And that is not to take anything away from their biological mom and dad. And I know that this can be a controversial topic, but I do think that part of our role as foster parents for infants and young children is to teach them secure attachment and a secure bond. And during that first year of life, their caretakers are who they know to be their mom and dad. And I think it's just really important that they have that secure bond and attachment. And I think for me, during that time, I am their mommy and I love them as though they were my own, holding them with an open hand, knowing that they're going back. But during that time, I am their mommy. So that is my kind of rationale. One thing I will caveat that by saying is I do not refer to myself as mama or mommy in front of their biological family. And when I'm talking about their biological family to them, I always refer to them as mom and dad. Hey, we're going to go have a visit with mom today. Mom is so excited to see you. She loves you so much. Let's put on a cute outfit for mom. She's going to love this. So I always refer to their biological mom and dad as mom and dad when I talk about them to our babies. And then when I hand our babies over, I will always say something like, oh, mom is so excited to see you. Aren't you excited to see mom? And hand them over. So I would never in front of a biological family say like, oh, mommy's going to miss you while you're at the visit. I am obviously not that dense or insensitive. So to our foster children, I always refer to their biological family as mom and dad. I always refer to them as mom and dad, talking with them as well. And mommy is something that I would reserve to use, you know, not in front of them. Not that I'm trying to hide that fact. I'm just not going to rub it in their face that I am the mom figure in their child's life at that point. And I always try to reassure bio families, I am rooting for you. I want you to get help. I want you to, you know, get better so that you can have your child. I am going to love them like my own and care for them like my own while they are in my home. And I want you to know they are loved and well taken care of. So that's kind of how I navigate that. Now, obviously, that's a different situation than if I had a 16-year-old come into my home. I'm not going to require them to call me mom and dad, or even a 5-year-old. Like, they've lived life with their mommy and daddy. They know who mommy and daddy are, and it's not me. When you take an infant from the hospital, it's very different. They don't have that set up relationship with their biological families, and that's a bond that you're trying to grow, but it's also, they don't have like a preconceived idea of who mommy and daddy are, and they just know me as the mama figure in their life at that point. Some foster parents that I know purposefully call themselves by their first name to the kiddos, like, hey, I'm Abby, Abby's here. And I don't think that's wrong. That's just not what I've decided to do. But I think every family and every parent has to decide what's best for them. I just found, especially like when we had our 2-year-old, it would have been very confusing for him to call me anything other than mommy, because that's what they heard my other children calling me. And he was just more comfortable. Like, he picked up calling me mommy immediately. And he was only in our home for 5 months, 3 months, something like that. And he took to calling me mommy right away. And so I think it's kind of natural too to let the child sort of decide what they call you. You can introduce yourself however you want, but they're going to sort of pick up and call you kind of what they're comfortable with. I know other foster parents that have had nicknames for themselves, like maybe they go by Cookie or, you know, some other kind of name like that for a foster child to refer to them. So I think the answer is really, you have to decide what is best for you, what is best for the children in your home, and just have, you know, a family conversation about that. And, you know, we're very open with our older adoptive and biological children, like, hey, these babies are not staying with us forever. We're standing in the gap for families. They're going to have a visit with their mom today. So our kids are kind of aware of that. But in our home, it's very natural. Mommy, mama, daddy, dada. But we have young kids. So I hope that was helpful. Once again, caveat that by saying no right or wrong answer. Everyone has to decide what's best for themselves. But in our home, that is how we do it with the age of children that we care for.